Sorry about that. Good day, everybody. Once again, I just want to apologize for that. We're doing a grade three English lesson on adjectives that compare. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. We're doing grade three. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of adjectives that compare. All right, so our chapter is adjectives that compare. The subject is English language arts. We're doing grade three. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of adjectives that compare is to use adjectives to compare and to spell adjectives that compare. Oh, what title? Is it the title of the I don't know why it's like that, seriously. That is why I went out of it and I restarted it again. So I don't know. I thought the name was going to come on, which is adjectives that compare grade three. But this is grade three and we're doing adjectives that compare. All right. So we're doing adjectives that compare. We're doing the subject of English language arts, grade three. I don't know why it's saying that live with Restream. That is why you'll see this two, because the first time when I did that, I basically canceled the live on YouTube, and then I restarted it thinking that it's gonna, the proper title was gonna show, but I don't know why it's showing like that. Because it's currently the 30th of November by me, because it's already after 12 and it's the 29th by you guys. All right. So the lessons is to use adjectives to compare, and we're going to spell adjectives that compare. So when it comes to adjectives that compare, an adjective, firstly, right, it is a word that tells us more about a noun, right? It's like telling us more about people, places, animal, or things, right? That is an adjective. So when it comes to adjectives that compare, and then we can say that we can use adjectives to compare people. So we can then use some of our adjectives, which is to compare people, to compare places, or to compare things. So with adjectives that we compare, right? We have comparative adjectives and we have superlative adjectives. So comparative adjectives and superlative adjectives. When it comes to comparative adjectives, right? It already gives us the idea that we are comparing. So we're comparing adjectives. So when it comes to comparative adjectives, we're comparing two people, we're comparing two places or two things. And with comparing two people, to places, or to things, they end in ER. And if we look at the example, right, of comparative adjectives, then it says, let's say, for example, we say he is tall, right? So he is tall. So we know that he's tall. But now, if we compare him to his sister, then we can say he is taller than his sister. Now we say he is taller. Then we add a ER than his sister. Because now we're comparing him to another person. We're comparing two people now, him and his sister. So when it comes to comparative adjectives, we compare two people or two places or two things, and our adjective ends with ER. Yes, but if we have a superlative adjective, right? That was comparative, comparing two people. But now when we have a superlative adjectives, we compare him to more than two people, more than two places or things. And they end in EST. So if we compare him to the rest of the class, right? Or the rest of the family, then we can say he is the tallest. EST in his class. So he is the tallest in his class. So if we compare him just to one person, then we say he's taller than that person and it ends in ER. But as soon as we compare him either to the rest of the family or we compare him to the rest of the class, then we can say he's the tallest because we're comparing him to more than two people. So basically, our adjectives over here is firstly, we can say he is tall on his own. If we compare him to another person, comparative adjective, we can say he's taller than another person. But if we compare him to two or more people, then we can say he's the tallest. Yes, so well done. Tall, taller, tallest. All right. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca and we are basically going to use adjectives to compare and we're going to spell adjectives that compare. All right. So once again, we see that we can use adjectives to compare people, we can compare places, and we can compare things. Yes, we can say David is the tallest in the family, meaning we're comparing him to two or more people. That is correct. Daniel is taller than Emma because we're only comparing the two of them. Well done. And Emma is tall. Well done. That is perfect. That is perfect. Emma is tall, but Daniel is taller than Emma. However, David is the tallest in the whole family. Well done. That is actually way perfect. All right. And we said we have comparative adjectives which compare to people, places, or things, and they end in er. And a superlative adjectives which compare more than two people, places, or things, and they end in est. All right. Now we have to say we need to complete our sentence with the correct form of adjective. The thief is the person in the whole story. The thief is the meaner, or meanest person in the whole story. What is our correct adjective? Do we say that our thief is mean than the whole story, meaner than the whole story, or meanest than the whole story? And if we were to choose the correct option, yes, we can say that the thief is the meanest. Because remember, we are comparing him to basically everybody in the whole story. The next one says, does steamed corn taste? Does it taste sweet than boiled corn? Does it taste sweeter than boiled corn? Or does it taste sweetest than boiled corn? We are comparing it to boiled corn. So sweet, sweeter, or sweetest. We are comparing it to one more person. One more thing. All right. So, and the correct answer will be, does steamed corn taste sweeter? Yes, well done. Sweeter than boiled corn, because we're just comparing the steamed corn to the boiled corn. So, well done. The next one says, the milkshake at Alice's diner. So, the milkshake at Alice's diner, do we say it is the thick one in town? Do we say it is the thicker one in town? Or do we say it is the thickest one in town? Which one is correct? So thick, thicker, or thickest. Which one is correct? All right. And if we were to check the correct one, remember we are comparing it to the one in town, like to others in town. So do we say it is the thick one in town? It is the thicker one in town, or do we say it's the thickest one in town? Because remember, we are comparing it to the whole of town. And if we were to choose the correct answer, then we would say that the milkshake at Alice's Diner is the thickest one in town. Remember, if we say, for example, it is the thickest one in town, in the family, in the class, in the world, then it means that we are comparing it to all the other milkshakes. So we're not just comparing it to this diner, we're comparing it to all the other diners in town, which means that it is two or more diners in town. So we can say it is the thickest. All right, so well done. Thickest is correct. You see, thickest, which means that we use superlative because we are comparing more than two things. So it is basically superlative adjectives, and we can say it is the thickest. Right? All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to use adjectives to compare. We're going to use adjectives to compare. Yes, David is the richest in the family because you're not just comparing him to another person, you're comparing him to the whole family. But if you compare him to Emma, then he's richer than Emma. Or we can just say Emma is rich. So well done. All right, so now we're saying we need to complete the sentence with the correct form of adjective. It says Kenneth's new flashlight is, do we say it is option one, brighter than Perry's flashlight? Or it is option two, brightest than Perry's flashlight? We're comparing it to Perry. So option one, it is brighter than Perry's flashlight. Or option two, it is brightest than Perry's flashlight. Which one is correct? All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, option one is correct. Because remember, we are comparing Kenneth's flashlight to Perry's flashlight. So we can say it is brighter, which is a comparative adjective. Well done. The next one says, is Lauren the loudest singer in the whole school? Or option two is Lauren, the loudest singer in the whole school. We are comparing her to the whole school. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, we would say that is Lauren the loudest? Option one, singer in the whole school, because she's not just comparing to another person, being compared to another person. We're comparing her to the whole school. So well done. Loudest is correct. The new highway. Do we say it is the smoother road in the entire city, or the smoothest road in the entire city? All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we are comparing this highway to all the other roads in the entire city. So which means that it is a superlative adjective, so we can say this one is the smoothest. Well done. Smoothest is correct. So Mrs. Spencer buys only the, do we say, freshest vegetables at the farmer's market, or she only buys the fresher vegetables at the farmer's market? Which one is correct? So do we say it's the freshest vegetables or the fresher vegetables? And if we were to choose the correct option, and then we can say it is the freshest option one, vegetables at the market. Well done. Now we're going to spell adjectives that compare, right? We're going to spell adjectives that compare. Once again, we said we use comparative adjectives to compare two people, places, or things, and it ends in er, like taller, smoother, meaner, fresher. And then we have superlative adjectives which compare more than two people, places, or things, and it ends in est. For example, tallest, meanest, smoothest, freshest, smallest, for example, right? All right, so now we're going to our test where we're going to spell adjectives that compare. All right, it says we waited in the line long. We waited in the long line in the whole store, or we waited in the longest line in the whole store. So we waited in the long line in the whole store or the longest line in the whole store. So option one or option two. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we would say we waited in the longest line in the whole store. Well done. Longest is correct. The next one says Gina has straight hair than her old sister does, or Gina has straighter hair than her old sister does. Straight option one or straighter option two. All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, we will say Gina has straighter hair than her older sister does. Mitchell is, well done. Mitchell is slow than Alexa at finishing his math homework, or Mitchell is slower than Alexa at finishing his homework. So slow or slower. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, right, which is our comparative option, we can say Mitchell is slower than Alexa at finishing his math homework. Slower. Yes. Well done. And let's do the last one. My mom has the straight teeth in our family, or do we say my mom has the straightest teeth in our family? Straight teeth in our family or straightest teeth in our family? So straight teeth or straightest teeth. We are comparing it to the whole family. All right. And if we were to choose the correct option, we will say my mom has the straightest, option two, teeth in our family. Well done. All right. So this is now the end of our lesson on adjectives that compare. We see that we have adjectives that compare, and we have comparative adjectives which compare two people, places, animals, or thing, and it ends with an er. For example, taller, smoother, small. You can even say smaller, smarter, and then we have superlative adjectives which compare two or more people, places, or things, and it ends with est. For example, smartest, tallest, smallest, smoothest, and so on. All right, so this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, everybody, and I really hope you're going to have a good weekend further. Thank you for joining our class. So, till next time, goodbye.